In this video, we'll be having a look at the Tenancy Balances screen. To get to the Tenancy Balances screen, from the home screen, we go into Finance and Tenancy Balances. When we click this, we get this message. Tenancy Balances may take some time to run. Do you want to proceed? And we will say yes. Tenancy Balances is a screen that you can look at to see what the tenancy balances are at any given date. It's a bit like the arrears management screen that we looked at in a previous e-learning video, but it doesn't have the arrears functions on it. So this screen is useful for tenancy managers to view the tenancy balances without having to look at each individual tenancy record. So from this screen, we can see the surname, given name, and known as name of the tenant. We see the rent balance in this column, the non-rent balance in this column, and the total balance of both rent and non-rent in this column. Next, we have the number of days that the tenant has been in arrears and the number of days since the tenant first went into arrears. Next, we have the daily rent column, and this is useful to see how much the tenant is charged per day for rent. We have other columns here for tenancy manager, property name, payment book ID, room number, tenancy status, address, and if we scroll over, we see the tenancy start date, the rent calculated to date, and other information such as the date of birth, contact phone numbers, and program for the tenant. If you see a column on this screen that you want to move around, you simply click on the heading name, such as rent calculated to date, and drag the column to where you want it. The default view for this screen will show you the balance as at today. You can change that to show what the tenancy balances were for a different date by changing the date in this field here. So let's say that we wanted to see what the tenancy balances were at on the 30th of the 6th, 2015. We enter that date in here, and when we press enter on the keyboard, all of these figures, the rent balance, non-rent balance, and total balance will change to show the balances as at the 30th of the 6th, 2015. So we can look at the balances for any date from this screen. The default in the date field is today, but you can put a date in here and it will tell you the balances as at that particular day. We have the ability to sort and filter this screen to show us all of the tenancy balances at one property. Let's have a look at the tenancy balances for the tenants at Westgate 23. We right-click on any entry in the property name field and go down to text filters. We will use the begins with text filter, and when we type in WES and press enter, we can see that we have 5 tenants who are in arrears for this particular property as at the 30th of the 6th, 2015. We can clear this filter by clicking the Show All function at the top here, which will also put the date back to the default as today's date. Now let's filter this list by property manager. So we will right-click on Mike Apple's name and select equals Mike Apple. Here we can see that we have 6 tenants managed by Mike and they are in arrears as at today. We have the ability to send an SMS to these tenants individually, send an email to the tenants individually, and word merge them individually. The functions on this screen are not performed in bulk, and if you do want to use one of these functions, you simply press the function that you would like to perform. We also have the ability to send this data straight to the printer using the print function and send the data to Excel using the export function. Once again, Show All will take us back to the default view. Finally, we might want to filter our search to show all tenants who were in arrears as at the 30th of the 6th, 2015 for an amount over $1,000. First, we will enter the as at date as the 30th of the 6th, 2015. And then we right-click on any entry in the balance field. But this time, we have number filters. So we select the less than option as we want to know the negative amount. We type in -1,000 in the balance is less than or equal to field. And when we click OK, we see our tenants who are in arrears over $1,000 as at the 30th of the 6th, 2015. So this screen can be useful for exporting data on tenancy balances without having to go into the Reports and Exports menu from the home screen.